So let's have a look at the decks I worked with this week. I'm going to start with the tarot, as always. Just get it out of the bag. And the tarot I worked with this week was the Cosmic Visions. So it's edged in black, and there's about a little page with some keywords per entry. I think it's a good guidebook. It's well written and I get a lot from it. These are the backs of cards. They are edged in a matte black, so they came that way. The card stock is a really beautiful rose petal finish. I really enjoy working with these cards. I love the way they feel. I think they feel gorgeous, although sometimes they can sometimes stick together when I'm shuffling, which isn't the greatest, but I don't care. The imagery, I really enjoy it. It is very reminiscent of my teenage years, the style with the black and white line work and then the rainbow colors on the inside and the spirals. It's something we all did back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But I like it. There's a lot of symbolism in the images. They're interesting. They've got traditional elements, but they're not so traditional that it's boring. It's something a little unique and different. It's not pippish to me at all. I just love it. It was super fun, and it's got that cosmic sort of element to it, which I really enjoy. It's got a very sort of spiritual tone, I would say, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it read really well. I love the size. It's not too big, not too small. I don't know if it's standard tarot because I don't have one of the traditional tarot decks, but I would assume it is. But there's so many cards in this deck that I also just are some of my favorite representations of that particular tarot card. So yeah, I had a blast with this, and it's definitely like this, for instance, is something, this Three of Swords card. A lot of tarot decks just have the standard card with the three swords in it, whereas this has a little bit more nuance to it, which I really appreciate. I always find that the cards that tend to be really similar are the Three of Swords and the Eight of Wands. They tend to be quite boring in all the decks. So I appreciate when there's some nuance. So the next deck that I worked with this week that I was really surprised by was the Lantern Oracle. This is a really excellent guidebook. You've got 3 pages, including like a message at the end, and it is so well written. It is really poignant, it's powerful, it's healing, it's helpful. I just love the way the author worded everything, the messages that they put in there. It's not like anything else I have. These are the cards, so they're quite big. They're the typical, I think it's Blue Angel, isn't it? Yes, it is. The typical Blue Angel cardstock. So they're the satin. They're quite thick and cardboardy. I edged mine in red, so they come with a border. But this is not something that I would normally go for, but I can't remember who used it. Maybe it was Al Moon 515. I can't remember her channel, but it possibly could have been their channel that I first saw this on. I think they were talking about using it for shadow work, but I've watched thousands of videos and I can't quite remember. But it piqued my interest, and I took a chance getting this deck because really it's not what I would usually be drawn to, but it is amazing. I like the art style. The quality is great. I love the guidebook. The card messages are not your usual keywords that you see. They're not the usual themes that you see. They also, like, they have the keyword and then they've got a sentence or a statement below it. But yeah, I just find this to be like a really deep deck. And yes, it is fantastic for shadow work, but also light work as well. I get so much from it. It really hits a chord for me. It's, like I said, powerful is the main word that I would use for this. I think it is simply amazing. I cannot speak highly of it enough. it's just amazing, and I'm so happy I got to work with it this week. It doesn't shy away, as you can see, and yeah, just in love with this deck. So that was a Lantern Oracle. Next up, I used this one, which is the Energy Oracle cards. The guidebook's quite big, so each card has the name of the card. It's got sort of keywords, upright, reversed, and then they end with an affirmation, which I think is really cool. There's a lot of cards in this deck. The cardstock is glossy, which I don't love. I don't remember who published this one, but yeah, it's not my favorite. I edged mine in a like metallic-y blue. The cards themselves, like these ones you can see have bowed a bit. The cards themselves, I'm not a fan of the artwork. I'm just going to say it. There are a lot of cards in here which make me laugh when I see them. It's mostly the dudes in here. They're a little cheesy, little tacky, a little bit cringe, but the breadth of like the themes in this, it's just so wild. It is just a very broad like subject matter, and stuff that I don't have in any other deck. It's one of the cards. It's just like the cover of a romance novel. Same with the angels. That's how I feel with these. And that dude looks like that 50 Shades of Grey dude. So yeah, I'm not a fan of the art style, I've said, but the themes are just so random and unique, that I that's why I'm keeping it around. I'm like, why am I keeping this when I just really don't vibe with the aesthetic or the cardstock? But there is some ones in here that I just don't get those messages from other decks, and I don't have anything else that can take its place for now. So that's why I'm very hesitant to move it along, because I don't want to lose the subjects that are in here that I don't have anywhere else. It's a really big mixture of light and dark, and there's also some spirituality. Oh my god, this picture, dudes. I just cannot with this picture. It is like back in the you know, when I was a child and we had like clip art or whatever, that's what that reminds me of. It is so bad. It is so bad. I just can't believe they are like, yep, that's great, let's put that on the card. And this dude, yeah, so I don't know. I might it's like Conan the Barbarian. I might pass it on. I'm going to put it in my purgatory bin. It's just I might just like use it as much as I can, and then I might be like, okay, now it's time to put it on, put it away, move it on. But yeah, there are a few subjects that I would like to keep, but I don't know if it's worth keeping an entire deck for that I'm not like in love with as a whole. So it's going to go into the purgatory bin, and we'll see what happens from there. We shall see, because it doesn't quite fit with my sort of style, and it's not so amazing that I can forgive like all the things I don't like about it. So anyway, the next deck we have is the I always forget this is called Mystic Midnight Oracle. So this is the guidebook. It's on silky paper. There's a page for each one. I'm going to say that I don't think this is the author, English is the author's first language, because there's a lot of grammatical errors as well as spelling mistakes in this guidebook. That makes me think, yeah, English is not the first language, but I don't mind. We've got the gold foiling on the front, which is really pretty. You've got matte gold on the edges, which is lovely. It's a thick card stock, like very thick, matte satin sort of feel. I think it's beautiful. And there's foiling on the front as well. It's a celestial themed deck. It's in these gorgeous jewel tones, so these blues, purples, and pinks. It's got a variety of cards. It's not just sort of astrological. It's very heavily astrological, but as you can see, there's other subject themes thrown in. I love the way it looks. I'm going to be honest. I think it's gorgeous. I am a Celestial fan. I love the artwork on this. Like I said, I think it's executed beautifully, although the guidebook definitely could have used an editor. But otherwise, I do enjoy it. As far as like astrological decks go though, it's not heavy on the information. So you'll get just like this little bit here, which is sort of about the, I'll go to an astrological one. Here, which is about like the astrological sign or whatever it is with the elements up the top. And then this is the divinatory message. So it's a little brief, but it's enough for me. But I do enjoy working with this, and I will be keeping it in my collection. It's just so gorgeous. I can't help it. It's so pretty. And I do really, really like it. So that's the Mystical Midnight. Then we have in here, we have Return of Spirit. This is the guidebooks. The guidebook has 2 pages per one with a tiny little picture up there. It's a great guidebook, well written. These are the backs. It is glossy cardstock, thick, which I'm not a huge fan of the gloss. I've edged mine in like an electric blue. Now this is not something I ever would have picked up for myself, but it was my partner's mother had one of Cheryl Lee Harnish's other decks. I think it's like something about Path of the Soul or something like that. And I loved the entries so much that I thought I have to get one. And I thought, which one do I get? And out of the 2, Return of Spirit and the Soul, I chose Return of Spirit because the guidebook had a bit more in-depth descriptions with this one. The like subject themes are not like other decks. I hate saying it like that. I'm not like other decks. Is in it has a little niche. It's really different than everything else I have. The fractal imagery, look, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's a little retro. It's a little too computer generated for me. Too like, do you remember those puzzles, they're magic eyes, and you would look at it and you'd have to like cross your eyes or something to see the image emerge? That's what it reminds me of. So I'm not a huge fan of like even the like font and the style. It just feels a bit dated. That being said though, the subjects and the write-ups in the guidebook are excellent, absolutely excellent, and that's why I will definitely be keeping this deck. It's just not like anything else I have, and I get a lot from it, and it's always bang on. I find this one reads, I have to turn that off, that's going to affect all the colouring. I think it reads really, really, really well. And then we've got this one. So this is Catland. The guidebook is really simple and small. There's just this much information. So you get like a sentence, and then you get about the card and sort of the divinatory message, and then keywords. So it's itty bitty, but like I said, it's still enough. These are the backs. I edged mine in purple. The cardstock is a sort of satin, closer to, I would say, gloss. It's very thin. It's not my favorite cardstock, I'm going to say it. In terms of the artwork, it's cats. That's literally probably 90% of the reason why I got this, because there's kitties on it. And it's sort of got like a bit of a Halloween-y kitty sort of vibe. It's got that Halloween vibe to it, spookiness, so the sort of spooky kitty, witchy kitties. And really interesting topics. Puppet Master, well, message and masks are pretty standard, but there's some really different, unique messages. Do I love it? No, I don't love it, even though it's really weird and different. And it's cats. I'm not sure what it is. I think I haven't given it enough time. I think I might definitely, I'm going to put it in my purgatory bin. I think it's going to come back in my collection. I'm pretty certain it will, but I don't love it so far. But I have a feeling with a little more time and playing and doing different spreads, I think it will definitely earn its place. Like, it's so adorable to me. It is dark, and it's of a different illustration style than all my other decks. I don't really have a lot of cutesy cute and adorable decks in my collection so far, I will say. But I want to give it a go. I want to give it another chance. I'm going to give it another chance to really impress me and win my heart. So as a whole, before I get into doing a spread with all of them and reading so you can see what sort of messages they have, as a whole, I think they played really well together. It was a bit of a mishmash because especially like with the Lantern Oracle being so deep and I want to say heavy, but like very full on. And then you've got the Energy Oracle cards, which just cannot feel heavy to me. And then the cosmic elements with the what is it, Midnight Mystical, and then the tarot, what's it called, Cosmic Visions. It was, yeah, look, I don't think they all work that well together. They're all really colorful and vibrant. I did get an amazing reading from them. I did a relationship reading with them and they just blew me away, like absolutely blew me away. It's one of the best readings I've ever done, ever had, most insightful. I learned a lot of things about myself. I had a lot of realizations in terms of too, like blockages and things that I had that I didn't even realize. It helped me discern my, you know, wants from my needs. So they all worked really amazingly together in that way. But yeah, there are 2 decks that I will probably be putting into my purgatory bin, but I'll get on to the spread. Okay, so I'm just going to do this general 6-card reading. So how you feel about yourself now, what you want most in this moment, your fears, what is going for you, what is going against you, and the future outcome. So in the first position, how do I feel about myself right now? I got up a tree. All right, up a tree. With a courageous heart, there is nothing you cannot do. A little windswept, our kitten sits high in the sky. Her journey was not an easy one, but she has finally reached the branch she's been aiming for so long. So now she sits, recovering her energy, surveying the beautiful world beneath her. Draw upon your inner strength and courage. You cannot fail. Face your fears, work through them, and you can defeat them. Once they are gone, you will notice you will feel lighter and more courageous in all aspects of your life. Now you've beaten these fears once, you know you can do it again and again, and you can do anything you want to. The key words are courage, determination, and success. Number 2, what you want most in this moment, I got voice. Let your voice be heard. You are a beautiful and wise being of the divine, made to bring forth your individual truth and expression. No more holding back, no more staying small. You're being called now to use the gift of your words and the power of your voice. What you have to say is important. What you have to share is needed. You could be finding yourself being asked to step out in front of groups to talk, or you may be finding that situations keep coming up where you're being given an opportunity. Oops, sorry guys, these are the wrong way. I'll just move them around like this. There we go. You're being given an opportunity to be vocal about what you think, believe, or feel. For many of us, this does not come easily. Often we have had past experiences which discouraged us from expressing ourselves openly. It is time to begin to heal those old misunderstandings and allow yourself to be seen and heard. Each of us has a unique expression. Whether you're being asked to sing, chant, pray, speak, or teach, it is your voice that needs to be heard. This can also be related to simply stating what is true for you in your relationships. It could involve stating your point of view, needs, or desires, regardless of how different they may be. It's a time to remember who you are. You are a spark of God. Stand up for yourself. Stand tall in what you believe. Speak from your heart and your words will always be heard. Your voice is a gift and it is meant to be shared. You are about to empower yourself in a way that you have not experienced before. You will notice that by taking this step of being vocal, you fall more into alignment of what you were really here to do. So that's the second position. All right, next up, I'll just change that one, that's a bit graphic. That's kind of phallic, but I'll go with it. Your fears. So I got this card a lot, and this was, when I said I did the relationship reading, this was like the main card, and it really was a bit of a revelation for me, and it led to so many other sort of like self inquisition and processing and understanding of this topic. I think it's amazing, this card. So I'm glad I get to read it because I think it's very well written. So this was under my fears. So this is distorted desire. Conscious desire rarely satisfies the unconscious need driving it. Knowing the difference between needs and wants is key to navigating what is at the root of a desire. It helps us to distinguish what is a self-sabotaging compulsion or mirage from what is a genuinely life-enhancing aspiration to be realistically pursued. When what we think we want is not what we need or long for at a core level, the realization of such desires potentially results in something nightmarish rather than dream fulfillment. In worst case scenarios, this can have us running for our lives, like the featured mother. Whether or not we consciously recognize a delusion for what it is, an untruth can never satisfy our needs. Illusions have no sustenance or substance, and therefore cannot satiate the burning desire that mistakenly drives us to attain them in the first place. Nonetheless, at the origin of every distorted desire is an invaluable lesson for us to learn about ourselves. Gently unpack the reasons why you are turning away from, rather than confronting, the things that are not actually as they seem in your life. It may be necessary to compassionately release yourself from an unwarranted conviction that things or a person will magically change into what they have the potential to become, and cease making excuses for why they have not. Mother's message. Once we get clear on what our heart's core desire is and therefore need, we are ready to recognize it in whatever form it takes and to receive it. Make the space for your heart's true longing to come in by freeing yourself of any illusions still haunting you. So that was that one. Once again, I think it's amazingly written. What is going for you? Here we have a Jupiter. I'll just get the book for that. Jupiter, Jupiter, Jupiter. Okay, what's going for me? Enlightenment, morality, prosperity, wisdom, expansion. Once again, I've put them upside down. Whoops-a-daisy. There we go. Jupiter is the planet of luck and the ruler of higher learning. Fortune, wisdom, and expansion are the gifts Jupiter shares to help us grow and prosper on our journey. Let Jupiter's energy strengthen the capability of your personal expansion by making the transition from thought to behavioral practice. This is a time to apply what you have learned in your search for self-development. If you feel your quest for higher wisdom has become stagnant, try broadening your horizons through travel so you can see things in a new light. Jupiter loves optimism, so do not worry if travel is not on your agenda. Quality time with a pet, a stroll in the park, or a game of chance may also provoke new thoughts for enlightenment. And then in the next position, what is going against you? There's adjacent possibilities. So this is many unconsidered options. I'll just flip it around. I just have to laugh that I get that card after I just totally bagged it. I'm going to read the reversal one for this one. When reversed, the adjacent possibilities card is warning you to be careful not to miss an opportunity because you're too married to your own agenda. It's also asking you to turn inward with a willingness to shake up your old unhealthy patterns and inner habits. The power of your life force moves through your deeply held habits, projecting your energy out into the universe and calling back your results. In this way, your ongoing thoughts and beliefs are really your defining moments, and in every next moment you have another energetic choice. So it's time to decide. Are you going to let worry and self-doubt define you? Or are you going to step into the ever-present adjacent possibility of optimism, trust, and self-love? No matter how stuck you feel, you always have options in the thousands of choices you make every day. And the affirmation is, I am open and willing to take my life in new directions. I am becoming more aware of my many options for harmony and optimism in my thoughts and in all my choices every day. And then last but not least, we have future outcome, which is Mother of Wands. I just love this depiction of this card. I think it's mad. All right. Have I put these upside down? Yes, I have. One sec, guys. And we put you there. And we put you there. Okay, so Mother of Swords. Mother of Wands. Determination and confidence. The Mother of Wands radiates positive energy and fiery passion. She's a self-assured powerhouse who knows what she wants to achieve in this life and is able to choreograph her strengths to fulfill those desires. With her arrival, You're reminded to channel your internal power and believe in yourself, as you are capable of so much when you put your mind to it. Don't be afraid to throw yourself out into the spotlight, as your beaming optimism will captivate others and your confidence will rub off on them. You are in tune with your shadow self and have explored the aspects of yourself that others may not yet know about you. Just like the other sides of you, allow your darkness to shine through to achieve connections with others on a deeper level. So those were the decks I worked with this week. I think they're amazing. I had some really good reads with them. As a whole, I don't think they go aesthetically. I have a newfound really deep love for these two decks, but these were also amazing. These two, I'm going to have to play with them a bit more and then decide whether or not they're staying. I think with this one, it's really just is the imagery. I'm not into a lot of the images. Unfortunately, it just doesn't do it for me. But so that's everything I worked with this week. I hope that wherever you are having an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, Star Child.